Um, okay. Once you've qualified how big the company is, and the next thing you ask is your company profitable? We're only acquiring profitable companies. Oh, yes, we are in profit. Okay. Were you profiting during COVID times as well? Ah, yes. Okay. Great. So we are looking for companies that are doing at least 20% net margin. So you want $2 to $3 million in revenue and 20% net margin. Oh, cool. If you don't mind me asking, how many doctors do you have? Ah, okay. How many nurses? What are the services that you're offering? And you keep writing in the notes. And then you say, okay, all right, you qualify okay. You could even ask, if you were to sell this business, what would be the ideal price that you would be looking for? This is optional. Write down the heading optional and write these questions. Also, could you send me you could ask them for 3 years of audited financials and tax returns. Audited financials and tax returns. Optional. Remember, this is optional. If they're comfortable, if they're really motivated, if it's a 70-year-old guy, he'll send it to you immediately. Okay. All right. So then you go on and you explain to them the 60-40 dynamic. Here's the deal structure, bro. This is for you. You acquire 60% of the company and he holds 40%. Okay? Once you acquire the company, you will make more acquisitions, right? And then eventually you want to take the company public or you want to sell it to a private equity firm. So before the exit, you will give him an option that for the 40% of the company that he holds, he can translate that 40% into the holding company and buy shares using that 40%. That's what you call it, rollover. Rollover equity. Correct. Right. So here is what's happening, bro. Small companies are valued at 3 to 5 times or less. Okay, 1 to 20 million, 1 to 30 million, that's the valuation. Okay, the moment companies become 100 million plus, 200 million plus, the valuation is 9, 10 times. Why? Because there's a succession plan, there's low risk, it's credible, it has a brand value, it's big in size, it has proper corporate governance, it has a board, it has proper financial controls, it has internationally financially credible, it has accreditation, like it has an entire system, it's run by itself, it's much sophisticated company, so it's valued at a much higher multiple. Public companies are valued at 18 times, 15 times, 20 times, 25 times, 30 times. That's the valuation of a public company. So you will see a trend as the company grows, the multiple transforms, even though the financial EBITDA margin is going to be the same, but the multiple on top of the EBITDA is going to transform. For small companies, it's going to be 3 to 5. For large corporates, it's going to be 8 to 12. And for public companies, it's going to be 15 to 18. So what you will tell them is that you are collecting 40 to 50 small companies, family businesses, and creating a corporation. So if they sell 60% now and they hold back 40%, then at the exit, their 40% is not going to be valued at 3 to 5. Their 40% could be valued at 8 to 10 at a minimum, or it could be 15 to 18. And you can check what the average for public companies is.
Right.
So you can tell them this is a data from so-and-so company, and it says that average multiple for public company is this. Average company, this for large corporates is this. Even if we do 10 deals, let's say we don't do 50, we do 10 deals, our group will be valued in 100 million. And you will get 8, 9 times as a multiple for 40%. So you sell 60 and you keep 40. And what this does for you is that he's going to run the business and he's going to be engaged and he's going to keep the profits up. He's not going to sell you the company and run away. Okay, so make sure that you set this dynamic. In any scenario, you don't acquire 100% of the company. That's all.
And the other option is that he or she doesn't want the rollover equity and she or he can receive a cash out when we sell, right?
Exactly. So if you do a cash out when you sell, let's say after 5 years, the exit doesn't happen. Okay, what are you going to do if the exit doesn't happen? They say, okay, we'll offer you the same multiple that we bought at based on that year's net profit. So if you bought a company at 3 times, you valued the company at 3 times of net profit of year 2021. In 2025, you will value it based on 25 numbers and you will multiply it by 3 times and you will calculate the 40% of that and pay him in cash. So you will guarantee a return, minimum return. You tell them that we'll guarantee a minimum return 3 times, but rest is all upside. You could get 5, you could get 7, you could get 8. You will tell them, we think it's going to be 8 to 9, and this is based on this data. But you need to sell the vision, bro.
Yeah.
You need to leverage on the credibility that you have built. You need to leverage on board members, have the board members with you at times. So I'm jumping ahead. Okay, so first call, you explain the 60-40 dynamic very lightly, and you say, we'll give you an option to exit. And you can exit on higher multiples. You can get the second bite at the cherry. So first 60% and then 40%, much higher multiple. Sometimes the value of the 40% is much more than 60%, 2-3 times. That happens. Really, it happens. So you have a promising project, use that vision. You have a strong team, use that. The other thing is, once you've done that, then you say, okay, when can we meet? And then you meet. You set up a meeting and then you meet him. The agenda for the first meeting is to get more information. So you will have a list of questions that you will ask them.
That's a physical meeting.
It's a physical meeting. It could be a Zoom, but I recommend physical meeting. Then you take a non-disclosure agreement with you. Okay? So that you can just get it signed and you can say, here is my non-disclosure. Everything that we speak about is going to be confidential.
Where is the meeting? In a restaurant? In his offices?
You could do the first meeting in his office.
All right.
You're just gathering information. You're not negotiating. He will ask you how much can you offer. Don't tell him 3 to 5 times EBITDA. Don't. Because he'll ask you for 5 times. When you send your executive summary, remove the price.
Right.
Write this down. It is very important because you may be able to acquire it at 1.52. So when he sees 3 to 5, he's going to ask for 5. Remove the 3 to 5 because you don't know how valuable the company is. We cannot use a standard approach. When they ask you for the price, he says, I cannot be irresponsible with my offer right now. I don't want to propose something that I cannot deliver. So let me get the details, let me get the financials, and I will have a discussion with our board and we'll do a proper valuation of the company. And you will. So tell them that we'll do a proper valuation and we'll tell you exactly how much the company is valued. I'll get to that. So they ask you for the price, you tell them that if we have very limited information right now, it will be irresponsible for me to give you an offer. Okay. When you meet him, you further qualify on the seriousness. You all the time are qualifying, is he serious or not? It's a question, bro, of your credibility. If you have a discussion for months on a target and he was not serious and you had discussion with your banks and board, that's a huge risk on your name. So you're going to speak to serious people. Okay? How do you find that out? How quickly do they send you the information? How quickly do they want to meet? Are they flaky? Do they keep rescheduling the meeting? Or do they meet you instantly? How do they treat you? How is their demeanor? What is the emotions? How old they are? How long have they been running the business? What is their personal life? Do they have any kids that can take over the business? Do they have any partners? Do they look stressed? Are they going through any conflict with their partners? There could be many reasons why they want to sell. There could be a conflict between the partners. They could be
in this physical meeting. Is it good to take with me some of the board members or just me?
It depends. You would if you qualify very well on the introduction call and it's a serious prospect, it's 65 years old, you take the board member.
It depends. Okay.
But if you see he's kind of like lukewarm, but you still want to go and meet him, you meet him, and then for the second meeting, you take the board member. I would say for the second meeting, you take the board member.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I cannot stress on this. Are they really looking to sell, bro? Okay. Here's what you will ask. You will ask for their audited financials. You'll ask them to send you, and you have an NDA, so they should not have any problem in you that. If they don't send the audited financials, they're not serious. So last 5 years, audited financials, latest till 2020, tax returns, 3 years, 3 to 5 years. Okay. Then you will talk about the property, what is the revenue, what is the profit, precise numbers, and you will write it down in your notes. Then how many doctors, how many nurses, what are the services, what is the location, what is the reputation, how long have they been in business? Just get all the elements of the business. Property, is it leased or rented? What type of entity is it? What type of license it is? How many doctors, how many services? How long have they been operating? How did they start? What is the backstory? Where are they from? How old they are? What is the revenue? What is the profit? Do they have any debt in the company? Those
all all this question is better to do it in phone or Zoom call or in presence.
In person. Make sure all the decision makers are there. If all the decision makers are not there, don't go to the meeting. You want all the decision makers. And don't speak to the general manager of the clinic or the CEO. You want to speak to the owner. You're not going to speak to someone who's not a decision maker. You have to speak to the guy who can take the decision.
Right.
You write down the information, you go back. You say, okay, let me come back. Send me the financials. Then you get the financials. Then you prepare an information memorandum, meaning you just prepare a draft of the information. You go on Word, you type it down, don't tell them the name of the clinic, but tell them that this is a medical clinic with 12 doctors, with 15 nurses. It's located here. This is the revenue. This is the profit. This is based on the audited financials that we have received. This is the property is leased. They don't have any debt in the company. It's a profitable business. And very important, ask them, how much are you looking for to sell the business? What would be the ideal price that you'd like to sell your business on? And then they will tell you, oh, whatever you offer. They say, no, I mean, you could have